All right, so as I told you at the beginning of the last video, there were two types, ors, which we just got done with, and now ands. So and, if you think about me saying, stand up if you are a male and you have short sleeves on. Okay, in order to stand up, you would have to fit into both of those categories. So with and problems, we're worried about overlap. So you can see with ors, we just kind of graphed it all, right? But with ands, if I take this inequality and combine it with this inequality, I only want to do the overlap of the two. I don't want to extend out past where these other graphs did, right? Because if I say something is bigger than 2 and smaller than 5, I only want those values in between. Okay, so we got to kind of be careful with that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a couple problems here. So number one, our two indicator numbers are -8 and 4. Okay, get them in the right order. I'm not going to shade until I look at everything here. So I'm going to put an open dot at -8 and a closed dot at 4. Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at this here. So solving, okay? So on solving and graphing with and problems, you can see there's no and word in there, okay? So we have to make it that way. When I'm looking at this inequality, I'm saying, okay, this stuff in the middle, this x minus 2, I can see is bigger than -4. It is also smaller than 3. So I write those two inequalities out. I write this one, and I write this one, okay? So we have -4 is smaller than x minus 2, and that same x minus 2 is smaller than 3. You can see the entire middle goes with both of those inequalities. Okay, so that's one important part. X doesn't go with one and -2 goes with the other. The entire middle goes with both of them. So now we're ready to solve. Okay, so at this point, it's pretty similar to what we did on the last page. It's broken up by this word and. I solve both inequalities, so I would add 2. So I have -2 is smaller than x. Keep the word and in there. Add 2. X is smaller than 5. Okay, so I get my -2. I get my 5 on there. I have an open dot at -2 and an open dot at 5. And now I'm looking to shade part of the graph. So this one is tricky, right? It's backwards, so make sure you read from the variable. It says x is bigger than -2, so that's all this stuff over here. X is smaller than 5, so that would be, again, the stuff in the middle, like we're used to seeing. All right, let's do one more. 6. So I break it into this inequality with the negative 2x plus 1 and this inequality. We'll make sure that middle part goes with all of it. So we have negative 3 is less than negative 2x plus 1. Make my plus look more like a plus. And that same negative 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to 9. Okay, so now I have my two inequalities broken up by the word and I want to solve both inequalities separately. Okay, so on the left-hand problem, subtract 1 from both sides. Negative 4 is smaller than negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. And remember, dividing by a negative makes me flip my inequality sign. So now I have positive 2, flip my inequality sign, and x. Keep the word and in there. Let's solve the other inequality. So subtract 1. Negative 2x is less than or equal to 8. Divide by negative 2. Again, dividing by negative makes me flip my inequality sign. So now it's greater than or equal to negative 4. So you got to be careful on this one. It's not written in order, right? My negative 4 is actually smaller than my 2, so just be careful with that. I have an open dot at 2 and a closed dot at negative 4. Okay, this inequality right here says x is smaller than 2, right? The alligator's eating 2, so x is smaller. So this all this stuff right here would be smaller than 2. It says x has to be bigger than negative 4, so bigger than negative 4 from this part is the middle. All right, let's go ahead and have you guys try, just try number 8. Okay, so pause the video, try number 8, and then you can go ahead and play when you're ready for me. All right, so I want to break it into my two inequalities, one here, one here. Remember that entire middle part goes with both. So negative 3 is less than 2k minus 5, and same 2k, not x, k, minus 5 is smaller than 7. Okay, so broken up by and, solve both inequalities separately. So add 5. Keep 1 to put x. Divide by 2. And I end up with 1 is smaller than k. Keep your and word in there. Now let's solve the other inequality. So add 5 to both sides. 2k is less than, what would that be, 12. Divide by 2, and k is less than 6. So here's my compound inequality. Let's go ahead and graph it. 1 is smaller than 6. Open dot at 1, open dot at 6. And remember, you're looking for overlap. This says k is bigger because the alligator's eating k. K is bigger than 1, so that's this stuff. And I also want it to be smaller than 6, so that's the stuff in the middle. All right, those are your compound and notes.